Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, to Time of My Life, the channel that is all about intentional and abundant living. I'm Deandra, and today I am just sitting in a spirit of relief. Oh my goodness, what a week it has been. So Chasey, my son, graduated from elementary school, grade 6. And my daughter, Cassie, she graduated from kindergarten. And let me tell you, the running up and down, the practices, between the practices, and, trying to make sure everything was done and all the things. I'm just really grateful to just be able to sit on the beach, woosah, relax, catch up on some much needed journaling and reading, and just all the things that brings me back to self. Because like I said, it was a lot going on. But in that reading and in that journaling, I couldn't help but to reflect on the last 6 years, right? The last 6 years has been quite the transition, right? 6 years ago, Cassie was just coming into the world in the heat of the pandemic, right? Chasey, he was in K5. He had a drive-through graduation. And I also lost my brother 6 years ago. He was, we lost him to gun violence about a month after Cassie was born. And I just remember that time being such like a really, really dark time, uncertain time. It was a heavy time. And a lot of times, like, I just felt so overwhelmed. I was going through the postpartum. The hair was falling out. That was the first time that it ever happened to me. Never happened with any of the other kids. And I was having, like really, really bad postpartum depression. And just trying to navigate through grief, with my family and I, with losing my brother. And then Cassie, she had like this thing going on with her heart, and we had to spend a lot of money with testing, and it was a lot. It was really, really heavy. And so now, looking from then to now, like, I only could see the goodness of God, you know what I mean? And just being so grateful that time and seasons change, and understanding that, and finally being able to, see that manifest, It's just such a beautiful thing to witness, and experience. And I also wanted to come on here to encourage someone, who may be going through a difficult time, to understand that timing and seasons change. Trouble doesn't last always. Hard times doesn't last always. Like, as long as you're alive, right? And the Bahamas, we say you don't pass nothing until you're dead. But I want to say, no matter what it is that you're going through, there's a means to an end, right? Now, in terms of grief, it never really gets easier. Grief never, I don't think it ever fully leaves you, but you learn how to deal with it. You learn how to cope. And hard times, it kind of stretches us to be resilient. And in this life, you need resilience, right? You need to almost be militant to navigate through this life. My dad used to say, life is not a bed of roses. And even though this channel is all about intentional and abundant living, I think a part of being intentional and living in abundance is understanding that things are not going to be, butterfly and roses all the time. Bad things will happen. Even when you are intentional, it doesn't stop you from facing the perils of life. It doesn't stop you from, it doesn't exempt you from experiencing, bad things or unfortunate things. You're going to have a human experience. And in that knowing that is going to come, no matter who you are or what you plan for, you could plan as best as you can. And there are going to be things in life that completely knocks you off of your feet, that sometimes comes out of nowhere, and you're like, what? That was me 6 years ago. That was my family 6 years ago, right? I remember feeling such mom guilt because, here I was trying to recover from this C-section and welcoming this new bouncing baby girl that, we were waiting on, because she's the only girl after having 2 boys. And so the whole family, my extended family, everyone was just so excited. And then what? My brother, we lost my brother. And anyone that knows us know that we are a very close-knitted family. And so when that happened, listen, that blew the life out of all of us. And, his anniversary, his death anniversary was this week. And like I said, the kids graduated this week, and I just felt this heaviness on me that I just could not shake. It was like a depression. So again, I'm supposed to be in like celebratory mode, but then there's still this heaviness, like, oh my goodness, like, Chubby, you're not here. You're no longer with us, and it's really heavy. And up to this day, like, I could remember getting that phone call. Cassidy was a month old, and just hearing that news, like, it never leaves you. Grief never leaves you, but you learn how to cope with it. So yeah, I didn't expect to unpack this today, but yeah, I just want to encourage just anyone that may be going through like a hard time, and you watch me, you're on my channel. I know I paint the picture of being the curator of a beautiful life and all the things, but just also understand and that, none of us are exempted from, the trials and tribulations of this life. And when that happens, just know that you're coming out. Know that, it's all going to build you to be stronger. Know that you're not your circumstance, whatever that may be, and just know that there's going to come a time when you look at hindsight and you're going to be like, God, I thank you, or even if you're not like a believer or anything, whatever your religion is, you will have that spirit of gratitude to say you could only feel grateful for overcoming. I remember Chasey's graduation. During the drive-through graduation, they said we are overcomers, right? They were the graduating class in the pandemic. And yeah, I could remember that so clearly, him being just such this little person. And look at him now. Right? Look at him now. My boy is headed into high school, and my pandemic baby, is headed into first grade. So I'm just really, really thankful and grateful. And I just want Cass and Chase to know that you're so resilient, both of you, and I'm so proud of you. And, as I watched you walk on the stage this week, I just can't help but seeing you guys. And, Cassie's that little infant, and Chase is that this little person, with the tooth missing, and being on the virtual platform, and, struggling with, the penmanship because, you weren't in school, and I was so concerned about your formative years, but here we are. You overcame, right? And so always know that you can overcome. And even when tough times and challenging times happen, know that it is within your DNA to overcome. Know that God has given you a spirit of resilience, right? It's an innate quality that you have, and you never know how strong you have to be. You never know how strong you are until you have to be. So I always want you to remember that you have what it takes. Even when life becomes challenging, you have everything that you need within you. So I just wanted to come on here to say that today. I wanted to come to encourage someone, to let them know that, tough times don't last, and that even though grief never leaves you, it becomes easier. You learn how to cope, and you learn how to live with it, and to also be present. Be present in your season, right? Seasons change, and don't try to wish your season away sometimes, because I know sometimes when things get bad, we're like, oh my God, like, just take this pain away. This is too much. But just understand that whatever season you're in, find out what is it that, you could extract from this time in your life. Like, I remember, dealing with grief, dealing with postpartum, and dealing with, just the heaviness of the pandemic. And I was like, oh, like, how am I going to do this? And all I could remember is just sitting in silence sometime with a candle, as I was in the rocking chair, like rocking the baby, whether I was nursing her, and just sitting in silence, right, and meditating. And when I felt the strength, started to journal and just get rid of some of that pain, and I would encourage you to do the same thing. Like, when life gets heavy, find a coping mechanism, right? Whatever that means for you. Some people talk about their problems. Some people, you'll talk about it excessively. Some people like to sit in silence, not being bothered by anyone. Some people may light a candle. Some people like to be around people. For me, I always like to go like in solitude and try to like just ground myself, like I say with journaling, releasing, you know what I mean? Going into meditation and prayer, those kinds of things. So, just take it easy, whatever it may be. Just know that you're coming out and you are stronger than you think you are. So I just wanted to come here today to say that. I may have rambled a bit, but if you stayed with me this far, let me know one thing that you're so happy that you would have overcome. It could have been 6 years ago. It could have been yesterday. And I'll be happy to read them in the comments. Love ya. Bye for now.